this is the second video. I'm picking it up here where I've trimmed that out and I'm having a little trouble here, so let's double check what happened. We should have gone through that intersection there. So now if we say trim, we select our object to trim. It's not always a screw that, it does trim back down. And so in fact, same thing here now. If we grab here and here, we should be able to trim out all of those circles there, all the way around. And we have essentially still left our major diameter of 0.3, which we're going to need someplace else. So as we go through here, we're going to remember that this circle came around. These circles here, we don't need them all because we're going to break this one here. And now the big question comes is what happens with this circle? Does it fill it into this outside one, or does it fill it back through? And I'm going to guess that this circle here, in all reality, this one comes around and it just fillets directly into that. So we're going to do a break here. Remember, in a positive direction, we're going to do a fillet radius of, like all of them, 0.63. All unmarked radii are 0.63, and we've got that filleting into that one. And you see it almost, it just kind of touches it as it is there. So that one comes around here. We're going to break this here. Trim out. I guess we don't need to trim. We're going to break around here. Positive direction, fillet radius 0.63. Again, all unmarked radii are 0.63. Once you have that, we can trim this one here. Remember, that was cotangent. Trim. So trim, you're starting to see sometimes you do select what you want. This piece here, we really don't need it. We may later on want it, so we might go ahead and just break this off, erase this out. And at this point, maybe it's a good idea to take that one. You can right-click property or just change its property by going here to center line. Of course, now you're still on the object layer. All right, this line here is no longer necessary, I don't think. What we're left with is a couple more holes. Let's go ahead and do those, and then we'll finish out the very last of this. I'm leaving the dimension around, and if I have a little time at the last of these 10 minutes, I will do a dimension. Out here, we have, at that intersection, we have a radius of 0.88 and a diameter of 0.81. C for circle, it assumes its radius, intersection of here, radius of 0.88 is the outside one. Inside diameter, circle, D for diameter. I'm sorry, this one you actually have to do the intersection. You give it where it's going to be first, and then you tell it D for diameter, and you tell it the diameter of 0.81. In that, once again, you break in a positive direction. Break. Break our outside circle. Break in a positive direction. Break this way. Fillet radius 0.63. You've got that circle. Click on what you want to keep. You've got this one done. You go down to the next pairing down here. We know that in an addition of 0.75, so in all reality as this circle runs through here, we want to have that major circle and we want to offset at 0.75. That's going to give us that OTO 0.75 for offset. Again, I do not have the clicky clicks at home. And now I have two circles that are centered there. The circles radii are 0.41. Circle from the at the intersection of here with a radius of 0.41. We have one circle. Might as well left click spacebar, C for copy, to the intersection there. So we've got two of those circles. This is a great chance to try something that we don't do much, which is a line tangent tangent. So line from the tangent of this one to the tangent of that one. Line from the tangent to one circle and tangent to the other. And then we have essentially something we can trim out. Click, click, spacebar. We've got our general circle done there. At that point in time, we knew that the outside radii were 0.88. So circle intersection of here. The radius is 0.88. And now is where it might get a little bit odd, because as this circle comes around through, we want this to be offset through. So we start to realize that we can take a line from the end point of that line, from the end point of that to the end point of that. Get rid of this for now, and we can extend. So we can extend, screw that, click, click, and we can offset through what point? Through that intersection point. Through what point? Through that intersection point. Now, of course, you break in a positive direction, all arcs and circles. Fillet radius 0.63. Click on what you want to keep. Same thing here, click on what you want to keep. And then you're just left with trimming out what's left of that. We're getting almost there. We're going to just end up in just enough time, I hope. We've got there, we had a radius of 0.75. We had another radius of 1.25. So we might want to just offset 0.5 here. Take this and offset it at 0.5. You now have that the major part of that. We had this radius of 1.63. That means this was offset 0.5 right here. Your assumption becomes eventually that there's going to be a fillet here of 0.25, fillet radius 0.25. We hope that this works. If not, you do a tangent radius. Now your last bit is to kind of just, I think, understand that as this thing comes around, this is also going to be offset 0.5, keeping the thickness on the gasket. Take that there, that comes around that way, and then this way is going to be offset 0.5 as well. And then finally fillet 0.25. You end up now with your piece done. Now, what you're left with, and we'll try it now, remember we'll leave the dimensioning on this till we're done. Well, let's go ahead and get our plot set up. We've got everything we like. It looks about right, everything is there. You're going to have to put some text on there, but minus V for view, W for window, plot view. Specify corner, end point of there to the end point of there. You like the layers and the way everything is, so you say LMAN. In LMAN, you go ahead and save on top of the plot view. It's remembering what's on, what's off, what's red, what's blue, what's purple. You go to the template. You change your layer now to viewport. And you bring in a block, but I don't have a block, so I'm just going to make my block. Remember, it was a rectangle. I clicked here, and I didn't know phi, so I just said at 1.62, 1. And I made mine 6 times as big and then twice as big, but 6 times was what I needed for the sheet. Spacebar, 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 6 times. I can move that box up a little bit. It's kind of where I want it. Now I use the viewport toolbar. Viewports, views, and viewports, they kind of run together. You keep both of them up. This is the viewport, but the command M view is useful enough to learn. It's right there. It's going to convert an object to a viewport. I'm going to convert that object. I have that there now. Finally, I click out here in space, V for view. I pick my plot view. I hit set current. I hit OK. When I click on this, I'm hoping to get something very much that I want right there, and I have that. Depending on your template, you can do a lot of other things, and I'm going to finally now introduce you to one variable that we're going to see a lot, and that's LT scale. And so sometimes you have to change your LT scale so you can start to see what your hidden lines are and the like. But we've laid that all out. When we plot it, we know it will be perfect. I've got a couple of extra lines here I probably don't need, so I'm going to erase this one here. Realize you can, right, when you're clicking around you're in paper, but if you double click inside, depending, you should be able to get inside and deal inside the viewport. Instead, you go over to the model very much. You go ahead and get rid of what you want. Right? You have everything set here. And this is ready, good to go. It's a great idea once you get everything really set up to click on that, right click, and lock your viewport. Just remember you can unlock it later. So there it is, that part in 20 minutes with everything but dimensioning. Dimensioning will be next. Thanks for listening.